welcome everyone that's on. So, this is our take two with Khodani because we had a bad connection last time. And she had some amazing gems to share. She talked about her book launch, and we're going to talk about all of that again. So, we're excited to have her on to kick off our month of July for Core.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to have this conversation again. I'm always available for you. And yeah, I'm always available and happy to engage with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being such a great and engaged part of our Core Sisters community. So let's jump in because I mean we have a lot of ground to cover. Um, Last time, which was just last week, we were talking about turning your purpose to impact, and you had a lot of amazing things to say. And I think that we can still touch on some of that today and with what you share. But the July theme is just talking about the community and collective growth and collective impact, and how you utilize your impact to kind of impact the community around you. So, when you hear, that theme about rising together and the power of community and collective growth, what does that mean for you, Khodani? Kind of where you're sitting right now.
So, we as people, we're not an island. You can not do anything alone. You need a community. And I always look at it from different perspective. From me being a mom and a working mom, I need a community to help me. I cannot
Mm,
do it by myself. I can't lie and say I've got a work-life balance where I can be able to balance motherhood, wifehood, as well as being competent at work. So I always look at it from that perspective, and at work as well. If I want to solve a problem, I can never do it by myself. I need a community. I need a team to solve the problem with me. A team with different expertise. We put our expertise together and resolve the problems. And looking at how I built confidence, I did not build it from just, waking up and I'm here. I've built confidence. It
right.
was built through having, community around me, some of my mentors, sponsors, telling me my blind spots as well. So that's how I look at how community looks like and how it is so important when you want to grow in life.
Right. And you actually are building your community now with a corporate hub. And with all the work you're doing and the mentorship that you're doing in your community, how when you think of confidence, how do you look at it instead of a lens of just personal achievement when you're working in your community to looking at it more from a collective perspective?
I think what I love the most about the community that I'm building, in as much as I've got mentees, I also have mentors, and
Mm,
from the mentees, our relationship as a community is very reciprocal. It's not just about me sharing, pouring my knowledge. I also learn from them. And currently, we are in a transition where we are basically in a learning period, with AI. Everyone is learning.
no,
And, using that opportunity of having different people, different ages, different demographics in the community, it really helps with having the continuous growth in Career and Corporate Hub, having a community that I can also rely on, depend on when I need support. So that's basically what's been helpful with building the community of Career and Corporate Hub. And not only looking at what we are learning, but the mentees that we have in our community, they also bring their mentees as well. So it really also helps to also expand the community.
okay. Well, this is great. You're doing so many great things. You're building a community. Like you said, you're a working mom. I love all the irons you have in the fire, and we could talk about all the layers that is the amazing Katani. But today, I want to talk about your book that has just launched. Congratulations! Woo! And
Thank you.
and let's talk about how play the ball, not the player. It has such a power. Woo! There it is.
South Africa is ready for the book. So, yeah.
Awesome. This is so wonderful. So, this is a celebration of a big accomplishment on your part. But play the ball, not the player is such a powerful message just in the title. Tell us a little bit about the book and what inspired you to name it that and even just to write it.
Yeah. So play the ball, not the player. It is a metaphor of, when you are faced with a challenge, do not focus on the people who are probably contributing into that challenge. Focus more on the problem, because once you focus on resolving the problem that you have, you are able to then find solutions. People can be the players to help you solve the problems, but
Mm,
if the problem is being caused by some of the people around you, look at how you can navigate that problem without really allowing the people that are causing it to affect it. And in oftentimes, I do a lot of coaching, a lot of mentorship sessions, and a lot of our problems are the same. Either we're fighting with our colleagues, either we're fighting with our
mm,
managers. If you're at work, if you're at home, you're fighting with family member. And within this book, there are lessons on how I navigated a lot of challenges that I went through.
mm,
And I would like people to also learn from that, not necessarily use my lessons as exactly replicating them onto their problems, but to look at that. I've came across a lot of problems, but I didn't focus on allowing that problem to become my identity. I
mm.
looked at how I can resolve the problem that I have and move past it, and look at the lessons that I learned from any challenge that I came across in life, which then allows you to move very fast from a lot of challenges that you come across with. So basically, the book is more of, don't run away from the challenges that you're going through. Don't allow them to define your identity. Look at them as a stepping stone to growth. And the more you face problems, the more growth comes. So if you're not facing any challenges, it means that you're not growing. So basically, the book
That
is more around.
that sounds like that sounds like such a great guide for people who are navigating challenges and working on their confidence, which I know you touch on a lot when I've just heard you speak, to our community. And I know you touch it in the book. When you think about kind of this message that you just described, last time we met, we talked a little bit about how that is helping you to make impact. Can talk a little bit about how it the message is going to help you make impact for individuals and communities.
So, from individuals, I would like them to take a lead in their own personal growth and their professional growth, and not necessarily look at the people around them, maybe their seniors, that they should take the lead or push them for them to grow. Because a lot of people are stuck in places where they're not growing because they are relying on the people that are around them. And if you're in a place where your potential is not being harnessed, your potential is not being recognized, unfortunately, you are going to get stuck there. And you'll only realize it 20 years later that, oh, I actually haven't moved, and it would have been too late, with your huge potential without it being realized or harnessed. So, the impact that I want them to make is to really recognize that potential and make a move. Because I think yesterday, actually, I came across someone. I don't want to mention the name,
Mm-hmm.
but she was just congratulating me on the book. She was like, "Wow, girl, I'm so proud of you. The moves that you are making are so big." And I look at you and I look at my life, and I'm like, maybe we are not all made for greatness. That really touched my heart, because I know, the lady, and I know the potential that she has. oh my gosh, I mean, when she does her work, I admire her. And when she said that, it just reminded me of why I wrote the book. It is also to remind people that you've got a potential to go far. You just need to be in the right place, that that potential can be harnessed, and you can also push yourself. And looking at the community, I come from a rural area, and which is like very most disadvantaged place, and there are a lot of people with a huge potential. So for me to put myself out there, sharing some of my challenges that I mean, in the book, some chapters raw, because I
Mm,
want them to learn that your current situation does not define your future. You
oh, I
may be
like.
struggling right now.
Mm,
However, the future is not going to be the same as like your current situation. And looking at how I break down some of my challenges, coming from a rural area, moving to a big city where I struggled a lot with communicating in English, because where I was, there were non-speaking English people who were using our vernacular language. And that's, when English was being taught, it
mm-hmm.
was taught in Chivenda, which is my home language, and then it would be translated into English. Then when we write exams, you just study to cram, and then you pass. And
Mm,
now when I get to a big city, I'm faced with a challenge where I'm like, hold on, now I need to learn English and I need to learn engineering because I'm here to study. Those are some of the things that I want people to really look at, to reflect on themselves, that actually, if she did it, I can also do it.
mm,
And also, me doing it, I also go back to give back to the community. That's why I go back to schools to talk to schools about how they can choose their careers, do career fairs, because I want not only, my growth to just for me alone. I want also my community and anyone in the world to really look at the impact that they can make in their surroundings, and that they have the potential to go far.
Oh man, there's a lot of good things you said there. And when you were talking, you know what made me think? Like, I know that you're one person and we're talking about impact and we're talking about collective growth. So you're already doing your part. You're writing the book, you're starting the community, you're out here talking and sharing your truth, sharing your story. How can other people in the community, maybe those that are listening today, or maybe, will listen to the playback, how can you encourage them to be an active part of helping others gain their confidence and grow? When you're not there, what tools can they use? Maybe they already have arrived, or they've read your book and you've helped them along and they're, a mentor at this point. What are some things that we as the community can do can help to help someone like that girl that like doesn't feel like she has a leader and doesn't know how to harness her power and
Yeah.
potential?
I think it's also important for them to build their community where they bring in young girls. If you're a woman, or just a community with guys, or the new and upcoming generation, and open a space where people can be vulnerable. They can
Mm,
share, what they're feeling. They can share what they struggle with. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of things that I always share is struggling with an imposter syndrome, and that it never ends on my side. It really, the higher I grow, the age level, it meets me in different levels. And a lot of people struggle with the same imposter syndrome. And if you open up about it, it opens, it allows the community to also open up. So the more we share our struggles, the more we share how we overcame our struggles, the more the other people that are looking up to you are able to open up, because they then look at you as a person, not just as a, this person with a title. Because once a person acquires a title, maybe they become a doctor, they become a manager, an executive, we feel like they're not accessible. And what they have is also not accessible. But once you get to listen to their story, their journey, you
Mm-hmm.
get to realize that actually what they have, what they've acquired is accessible and I can also access it. So when they open up more, then the better for the community to also realize that they can also achieve what they have. So let's open up more.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's really important. I'm a definitely an advocate of safe spaces, sharing stories, sharing truth. And when you were talking, I heard you. What you were touching on was about vulnerability, and I think that's what a lot of people lack, and a lot of people are scared to kind of walk in. So when you think about, but you are kind of a great example of being very vulnerable and sharing some very intricate parts of your story, which I really appreciate because it does allow people to realize what's possible. So, how has that vulnerability played a role in the leadership that you are, currently walking in, as well as you writing your book?
There are a lot of people in I remember like in my previous role where they didn't see themselves growing or moving from where they are. They felt like this is what I have is enough. And me being vulnerable with them to show them where I come from and what I've done to achieve what I have, allow them to reflect on their own life. Some
Mm.
of them went back to school.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them really like they were putting more into the work, which increase profitability in the company or added value in some of the scopes in the company, to see that actually if I open up more, then there's an opportunity for me to grow than holding back. So there's a huge impact that it can make when you open up. And I remember when I started on LinkedIn, I used to talk about a lot of my flaws and how I overcame them. And I've gotten a lot of messages, people saying that, how are you so brave to open up? I'm also been struggling with this. Can you open a group for us, a community for us to talk more about these topics that you open up about,
Mm.
to be more vulnerable. And there are some groups that we also have where we open up and we are vulnerable, and we share what we're going through. More especially, some of the community, females in a male-dominated environment, they are struggling to grow, or they are struggling to work with males where they feel like they need to change and become like have more masculine energy so that they can be accepted in the community. So those are some of the things that we open up about, that you don't have to change who you are. If you are
Mm.
operating from your strength, it allows you to grow even better. And some of the challenges that people go through, finding a job, and when they open up about, I remember recently there was someone who went for an interview like in the community, and when she came back, I think a few days later, she was given feedback that she cannot be hired because of like her personality does not fit. And
Mm.
she came into the group, and the way she just threw it in there, it felt like she wanted to release. And creating that space that allows people that allow people to feel that I can just vent and I'm heard, I'm seen. That's what we need to create, and it really helps for people to then understand that I'm not stuck. This is just a period of the challenges that I'm going through, and then I will move and they will pass.
That's good. I love that. I love the really the part that you're talking about, people just walking in their authenticity and then in their truth. And sometimes when they go into places that people will try to diminish that, but that they can look at that as a growth opportunity. So, now, I mean, there's so much goodness. And I know last time you were talking about just some other aspects of turning your purpose into impact. And you were like, I'm not going to give everything away. You have to get the book. So that was like pre-launch. Now that the book is launched and it's the world, it's
Hello.
for the world to, read. What do you feel like that you'd be willing to tell people today that you would hope that they would take away, and something that you would want them to take away for themselves? And that, and of course they would need to read it to get it, but also what they could take away to give away to others to help with like the collective growth.
Oh my goodness. So I spoke about my struggles with menstruation.
Okay.
Part of it is, when I started, how it started. You get to learn about it in the book, buy it, but also touched more on that women must not shy away from them being women, because
Mhm.
every single month we go through menstruation, and you feel embarrassed at work, and sometimes you are so low, your energy is low. And for me, I struggle a lot with severe pains, and some of it, a lot of topics on the book is really like a conversation starter of what can be transformed in the organizations, where I talk about people who struggle with severe period pains. They can hand in a chronic letter from a doctor that this is what I struggle with. And on those days where you are really struggling, you are allowed to take leave, not from your annual vacation leave, but it can be that chronic leave. And some of the things that I also talk about, when you have your periods, they come unannounced. Sometimes you find yourself going from one lady to another lady. You're asking, "Hey, do you have a tampon for me?" You're asking, and it's so embarrassing because some people look at you like, "You're so disorganized. You are a lady. Why don't you have this?" And sometimes you find that you just changed a handbag, and you happen to have forgotten your tampon or your sanitary towel, and then you don't have it on that day. So the projects that I'm working on are implementing menstruation product dispensers in the bathrooms, so that when that emergency comes, like, our dignity is restored. You just go to the bathroom and you take it, and then you use it, instead of us going around, because there's so much shame around it.
Mhm.
But other than that, a lot of topics, a lot of challenges that we go through either at work or in our community are more of stop really focusing on the challenges. When you hear people complain about the problem, stop complaining if you're not going to fix the problem that you're complaining about. If you want to fix the problem, don't give it to people to just fix it, and be part of the solution. So what is the problem? What do you think can be the solution? Then let's solve it together. And by doing that, we can build a better community, a better working environment. And I also gave an example of how it has happened in my area as well, either at work or even in my surroundings. Yeah.
Man, that's great. Those are a lot of topics, you're right, that people are not talking about in corporate settings. And I love that you are just like unveiling what is kind of the proverbial elephant in the room and saying, "Let's talk about this. This is a way of life. This is something we all deal with, and we don't have to have shame in it." And probably a lot of other things that people walk in shame with and they feel like they're really alone in. So I'm glad that you are opening up and making these things, you know, comfortable conversations instead of, and courageous conversations that people can bring to the table. And you're showing people like, "Hey, I've done this. I'm approaching this. You can do this too," and walk in your truth. So, congratulations to you. And I actually really applaud you for that, because a lot of women aren't talking about that. So those are great takeaways. I can't believe it, but we're getting close to time. So I want to make sure we talk about a few other things. But thank you for everyone who's been joining in. Some people have been saying congratulations. I've been seeing some
Yes.
hearts. Things are resonating, and I know that there'll be people that'll watch this back as well. So I want to say, just, is there anything else? I know I have like questions that I ask you, but is there anything else that you would like to just leave with the audience or anyone that would watch this, that you feel like that you'd want them to know?
What I want them to know is for them to really exercise reaching their potential. it is important that they always evaluate their environment. If they don't feel like they're growing in their environment, they're feeling stuck, they should not allow that to be the end of their career, the end of their growth. They should always know that there's something better somewhere, or, somewhere, somehow.
Mm.
So it's important that we always realize that we need to grow continuously. Growth that does not end. So that's what I want a lot of people to take. And when it comes to building confidence, what I can advise is it's really important that you invest in learning who you are and what you
Mm.
want in life. And once you start there, anything that you want to become, um, the mistakes that you're going to make, they are just going to be a stepping stone to something better. And once you've gotten to know yourself and what you want in life, then you would allow yourself to fail, pick up, and become better until you reach that level. And the truth is, you'll never reach the level of the growth that you want, because once you reach to a specific growth that you thought that's what you wanted, you want something better. So it keeps
Right.
getting better and better and better and better. Yeah, we keep wanting more and more and more and more, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I would like to just encourage everyone that do not limit yourself. The sky is not even the limit now. People are
Mm.
going to Mars. So push through, and it doesn't matter who you are. Anyone has a huge potential to go far, and I am living that truth.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, there's just so many takeaways here, but what I've heard just around the theme and the conversation we had last week and the conversation we're having today is it starts first of all with us and being
Yeah.
introspective and realizing our own potential and recognizing our own gifts and the impact that we can make. And then once we realize that, we can actually open up spaces and help the and become a get to a place where we can collectively help the community grow too as individuals when we kind of harness, I like that word you use, harness our confidence. So thank you so much for that. That's such a gem that you've left us with. So tell us of where we can find the book, anything we need to know, what you're going to be doing in the future, where we can follow you, all of that good stuff.
So the book is available on my emails. You can send me an email at career, sorry, rather at it's info@careerandcorporatehub.com. You can also send me a message on LinkedIn, or if you have my WeChat, you can send me a message on WeChat or on WhatsApp. But I think mainly Instagram as well. You can send me an inbox, then I can direct you on where you can find the book. So unfortunately, currently it is not in any stores, but my goal at the end is put it into stores. And yeah, so in South Africa, it's available if you want it for shipment. The book is 229 Rand in South Africa. So that is available. Then additional shipment will be then added onto the cost. And then in China, more especially in Beijing, it's 138 RMB, and additional cost will be applicable for shipment as well. So let me know if you would like to read the book. I tell you, you are not going to regret it. You will also get to know me a little bit, because I share a lot of stories, practical stories that you can then relate to when you are looking at the lessons as well. Yeah. So I would appreciate your support.
Excellent. And some of our audience is probably US based too. How much is it in the US and can it be shipped to the US?
I need to look at that market. My goodness. Oh, I need to look at that market. And I do have like I think 3 people so far who are in the US who have inquired about it. And I have to. I have
Okay,
to.
yeah, that's great. If you let the US market know the cost and maybe even look about getting it on Amazon, that'd be great. Awesome. Thanks everybody who joined. Thank you so much, Khodani. Thank you for all the love you've given us the last few months, speaking to Core Sisters in person, coming on multiple lives, and just, just being such, like I said, an engaged and big part of our community. I think you've helped a lot, inspire a lot of women, and I know you will continue to do so.
Oh, thank you so much. For me, it's always an honor, more especially when I get a call from you. I know I'm seen, I know my story is heard, and that's why you would like it to be shared with your
Mhm.
community. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I really love your community as well. I mean, there's quite a lot that I've learned from. I've came to you to say, hey, girl, you implemented this. I would like to implement it to my
I
community as
love
well. So it's really a beautiful community, and I'm grateful to be part of it because I learn continuously. So thank you so
it.
much for really
Yeah, that's why we grow together.
recognizing my.
How we do, we collaborate and we cross pollinate, and this is the beauty of it all, and we can do it from multiple different countries, and I think this is like a wonderful thing. So thanks for joining, and thanks all of you for joining, and could we'll definitely be posting the clips of this in the next couple of days, and we'll have the full interview if you missed it on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned and make sure you get the book.
Yes, thank you
All
so
not
much,
here.
Aisha.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.